So much for tuning in today to the Gospel from the Stripper's Pole.
Welcome.
Today I have my husband with me, Poppy.
I'm not a witch. I'm a witch for Jesus.
You are what? You are a foul devil. Do you know who you are talking to? Foul devil.
Where's the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
What?
Slap.
I'm really getting fed up and dealing with African Americans and a Christian God. I mean, I've had so many conversations with these morons that I don't even know what to say. I mean, I've never tried to disabuse or deconvert these some bitches, but these motherfuckers are really, really stupid. I mean, a vast majority of the black Christians are, completely morons.
When people talk about Reverend Creflo Dollar, they mention the Atlanta area mansion, a $2 million apartment in New York, the Learjet, and the Rolls Royce he owns. But Reverend Dollar says all he does is simply share God's principles to help people better their lives. After years of avoiding the media, he talked to me in defense of his prosperity ministry and his character.
I can't take no credit for what you see. This is God who had the plan for my life.
The life of a millionaire pastor.
You got to humble yourself for God's plan in order for him to prosper your life.
It is the basis of Reverend Creflo Dollar's $80 million a year ministry. One that sells books, DVDs, and CDs by the millions, all the while teaching the gospel of prosperity.
I define prosperity as every arena of life. Prospering in your spirit, prospering in your soul, prospering in your physical body, that's healthy. Prospering in your relationships, prospering on your job, and prospering in your finances.
As Christians, the way you...
Reverend Dollar says he learned prosperity gospel from his mentors, Kenneth Copeland and Oral Roberts.
The children are in the house. I hope they didn't hear what I said, but it's real for some folks. You got grown people still trying to suck on titty. Get your own milk. Go to the supermarket. They got a gallon for you behind. You ain't sucking on me no more. I'm not a witch.
Who are you?
But I'm witch for Jesus.
Jesus has no witches. You are a devil. You are not set for deliverance, and you are free to go to hell.
That's the coldest line ever. You are free to go to hell. Like, he didn't try to call the demon out. He didn't try to pray for her. He smacked her and then told her to go to hell.
If you think about a black church now in an internal community of believers, a community that is located in one church, you can think that there's a pastor, there are people on the board, there are deacons, there are elders, there are members of the church, there's church mothers, and within that community is cohesive, that community of individuals. It's a safe place for people. It's a place where you can tell people your problems. It's a place where you can call out to God. What the problem is that most of our churches now are individual churches, and they are not collectives as a community within the communities that they live in.
I mean, they don't have an idea of what's going on in the science world at all. I mean, I can't even explain how many motherfuckers I've had debates with in regards to human beings being considered as great apes or primates. Like, these motherfuckers are just totally uneducated, willfully.
The conceptualization of the black church does not always correspond with what really happens in black churches. In other words, depending on whose experience is solicited, Afro-Christianity has never been monolithic, the black community has never been undifferentiated, and black prophetic witness has always been compromised. These things are not new, therefore the question for me rightly emerges, how can something be dead if it never really was alive, according to the aforementioned assumptions of its former vitality? And still, the black church, though it has never been all it has confessed to be and been confessed as the image of the black church, as all of these things, as a homogenous institution for black people on the side of justice and equality, has undoubtedly served as a significant site, as my co-panelists have already mentioned, where many oppressed have come to believe in the God of justice and the God of love. And although justice and love is not always its reality, it is not always the reality of the black church.
Somebody said, oh, I didn't come here because I want to hear about money. I came here because I need some peace. Well, honey, you need some money or you ain't gonna never know no peace. Because I've heard people say, it's not about money, it's about peace, and it's about joy, and it's about love. It's about money. I'm already wealthy, I'm loaded. I got more than enough. I'm a blessed man. I didn't ride here on Delta, I rode here on my own airplane. You understand what I'm saying?
It's all about the money. It's all about the money. You don't get it. Please hear me. Second greatest theme in the Bible, money. You can't get away from it. You can't get away from it. I gotta ask you, serious, why are you even coming to church if you're not bringing the tithe? Seriously, what are you expecting? Just hang out at home, man. Play golf. You don't need to be here. What are you expecting, man? Are you crazy? You ain't gonna get anything. It's not gonna happen. You're spitting in the wind.
A lot of these black churches are robbing black people. These churches make millions of dollars in donations, and they don't give any of that money back to the black community. Pastor Dollar is a preacher in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's asking his congregation to donate him $65 million so he can get another plane. Now, he has about 200,000 members at his church. And most of these members are poor black people. There's a lot of poverty in Atlanta. When you go to Atlanta, you see people sleeping on the sidewalk. Atlanta has one of the largest homeless populations in the country. People sleeping on the sidewalk. You got women with their kids sleeping outside. That's how bad the poverty is in Atlanta, Georgia. And for this man to be asking these poor black people to give whatever money they have so he can get another plane, it just goes to show how heartless this man is.
Every Sunday, the Reverend Creflo Dollar packs him in under the World Dome, his 8,500-seat church outside Atlanta. The pews are filled, and so are the donation plates.
The Word of God is the gateway to the world of wealth.
The man whose last name literally means money in the United States often suggests to his 30,000 parishioners the more they give, the more God will deliver financial blessings to them.
They really stressed tithes and offerings a lot. I mean, it made us afraid, so we started giving money. I mean, even when we were going, we would give money and then we'd look at our account and we had overdrawn our account. But we just felt like if we didn't do this, that God was going to curse us and we weren't going to get all these things that we wanted to have. It was scary. Once we got to Hawaii, we didn't find a church we were looking for a church for about a year and a half. So during that time, we were still watching these shows on TBN and kind of staying in the loop from what they were saying. God was becoming less of a priority, and us pursuing wealth and possessions was becoming more of a priority. That's all we talked about. That's all we thought about. We would have, we had this book where we put all of our dreams, and we would have these things that we would recite every day. Me and my husband would hold hands and we would recite these things like, we believe that we have this money and we can feel it in our hands. We are now awaiting a plan from God by which to accumulate this money, and when we receive that plan, we will follow it. But it seems more like we were trying to speak them into existence more than we were getting God's guidance on if this was his will.
Despite his critics, Dollar's popularity and wealth have continued to grow, and all that revenue is tax exempt, with little or no way to know how much he has or how he spends it.
I mean, if you go and look into these churches, you go and look in the behaviors of, the decision making from the administration on the pastor on down, these people are just jokes. I mean, they misrepresent the Bible very, very bad. And then they're so quick to tell you when you point it out, well, you can't judge me, everyone's sins, or don't look at man, look up into God. I mean, if you representing God, wouldn't you be the first motherfucker I see? Like, when you evaluate a program, don't you evaluate the performance, the output of that program?
Previously, African American pastors were paid and supported by the church, and so they did not have the fear of their job leaving. They didn't have the fear of not being able to meet their needs because they were met by the African American community through being paid for being pastoring the church. Now we have a lot of part-time pastors who make their daily living outside of the church, and so they have to protect that. And so they don't feel that they can speak out for the church as they once did. Some of them who are actually being paid full-time by the church, refusing to speak out. Why? Because it ruffles feathers from a political standpoint, when the issue is not politics. The issue is whether or not we're receiving our fair share when it comes to contracts, when it comes to jobs. Those things translate into more being paid into the church, which is more available for them. And so I don't see why in the world we as a congregation as a whole will continually allow ourselves to be sold out by some of the African American pastors who refuse to deal with social issues, not political issues, social issues that affect us every single day.
This is a satellite view of Dollar's Georgia home, worth more than $2.3 million. These New York records show Dollar and his wife sold their Manhattan condo for $3.75 million. And that's not all.
Bentleys, Rolls Royces, corporate jets, $23,000 commodes.
In 2007, the lavish spending even caught the attention of the U.S. Senate.
Just think of a $23,000 marble commode. A lot of money going down the toilet.
I asked some questions about the Bible itself. They couldn't tell you shit. Most of these motherfuckers think that the Bible is one book, not knowing that it's a compilation of books. I mean, these motherfucking morons. I mean, these black motherfuckers are really, really stupid. These black Christians are morons. And they're very, very good at proselytizing. There's one thing I can say about these motherfuckers. They're good deceivers because, see, they come into your life when you down. When your back is against the wall, and they come rushing in with God this, God that, Jesus this, Jesus that. Well, shit don't got nothing to do with Jesus or God. I mean, even if there is a God, I mean, God have already given you 5 senses to figure out what you need to fucking do, right? Why the fuck you need someone in the sky to give you special treatment?
It is time for your inspirational vitamin. And Dr. Juanita Bynum was just with us, and she spoke on the power of purpose. Listen to what she had to say. If you're going through that struggle today,
yes,
you've seen it in so many people.
I'm in it.
You've experienced it yourself.
Absolutely.
How does somebody come back from trauma that people are facing these days.
Well, I think you and Wanda both know that I've been there and had those same feelings like, this is it. But I think that the minute I allowed somebody to help me to take full responsibility for my life and not doing the blame game to say, oh, this is their fault is the reason why I'm where I am. I took full responsibility in every area because every choice that I made, nobody put a gun to my head. These were my choices.
That's right.
And I made those choices due to a lack of wisdom. I'm not embarrassed about my conversions, and that's why I'm not insecure about being around people who have issues and struggles because I've been there and I've done it all. I've did the drugs. I've been with men. I've been with women. And all of it comes out. And
Are you serious?
Every bit of it. That's my line. That it's not a line. It's my life. That abuse that I suffered was because I attracted after my own kind. That abuse was already sitting in me. I had already abused myself mentally and emotionally for years, trying to fill a void that only the power of purpose can fill. And when purpose has a place to fill that hole, and you keep reaching for everything you can you can have sex with 50,000 people, you can do drugs till the cows come home, but the void that you're trying to fill is a void that's been put there by the Creator, and it's called purpose and destiny. And until you accept that, you're going to walk around with the living dead.